If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Welcome back to the War Room. I'm your host, Owen Schroyer. My guest now is Brandon Gillespie. Brandon is a student at Rockland High School in California, where they are trying to organize a pro-life rally, a pro-life march, if you will. CBS Sacramento reporting, Brandon Gillespie quoted, to honor all the lives of aborted babies, pretty much, all the millions of aborted babies every year. So Brandon has been trying to organize that. Of course, this is in the shadow of the nationwide school walkout for gun control for the children, of course. But then when you try to plan a march for the children that get aborted, well, it gets put on the back burner. But Brandon, thank you for joining me today. I think that it was a brilliant idea you had to start this, and you even mentioned how part of the psychology of this was to show the double standard, how the left and liberals are able to have their marches, but if a conservative wants to have a march or a walkout, all of a sudden there's some scrutiny that comes with it. So talk about the idea of having the pro-life walkout and the response that you've gotten from school.
Yeah, that's correct. So initially this started as when my teacher was placed on administrative leave 2 weeks ago because she had questioned the gun control walkout that happened on Wednesday, the 14th. So that's what inspired me to do this, really, was because she simply asked the question of, would the school allow a group of students, give the same courtesy to a group of students that wanted to protest something such as abortion? And she was automatically placed on administrative leave for saying that. So that really inspired me to do this. And another reason I'm doing this is because I am pro-life, and I want to, of course, bring awareness to the issue of abortions and all the cruel things that are happening at Planned Parenthood clinics across the nation. And then finally, I want this to show students nationwide that they can stand up for what they believe in, even if they are in school. That just being in school does not mean that their rights are taken away.
Yeah, and you don't have to be afraid to voice your opinion, even if it seems like your opinion goes against all of the momentum of the school, the administration, the teachers. It takes courage, it takes guts, it takes bravery for you to do that. You know, it's amazing, though, to think about this. So you have this nationwide walkout for gun control that pretty much happens overnight. They plan this whole thing. Everyone takes place in it. It's like if you don't take place in it, you're like on the outskirts. You're the outcast. And then you talk about, and it's all for the kids too, right? It's always for the kids. But then you talk about having the abortion walkout for life, a pro-life walkout. And no, we have to review that. We have to look at that. You know, we're not sure if we can do that. Where when they want to have their walkout, it's just like, oh yeah, it's a given. We have to do that. Oh, absolutely.
No questions asked. Yeah.
So what did the students at your school think about that, though, overall? Were they politically charged with it? Did they agree with it? Were they just happy to get out of class? Were they wondering why all of a sudden we have to have this walkout? What was kind of the response from your classmates?
About my walkout or about the previous one?
First the previous one, and then the response when your idea came about.
Okay, yeah. So the previous one, obviously there were a group of students that, large majority of my school walked out. I think about 2/3 of the people in my school decided to walk out for that. And I'm sure a large majority of them only walked out because they wanted to get out of class. But then I'm sure a lot of them did it for gun control. And then I'm sure another percentage of them did it to honor the lives of the 17 victims in the Florida shooting. However, when I started talking about doing this, the #life walkout for pro-life, the people that have come up to me so far are pretty supportive in saying that they like what I'm doing, and they're pretty supportive because they also want to see if there is a double standard in our schools.
Well, and now you're on the verge of showing the double standard, putting light on the double standard, or getting to organize your march. They're kind of put into a hole here. You've kind of used the psychological battle against them by putting them into a corner. It's really easy to do to liberals, where now they either have to admit they have a double standard, you're not allowed to have your right to free speech, you're not allowed to have your march, when they are, or they have to let you have your right to free speech, let you have the march, which you know is going to just send them into a tizzy that you would ever protest abortion. I go to the story from CBS Sacramento where one of the editors at the newspaper was responding to you. She says abortions aren't really anything that has to do with school or students here, but they have their First Amendment, so they can go protest about that anytime, anywhere. Well, that's the point. Can you really go protest it anytime, anywhere? That's what you're asking. Am I allowed to do this at school? You got to have your protest at school during school hours. So is that true? Do we get to have our same rights like you had? So now you've boxed them into a corner, and I wonder what's going to happen. What is it looking like right now?
So on Friday, I had a meeting with my principal at school on Friday morning. And before the meeting, I was quite optimistic about it. I was really hoping that he would allow it. However, after meeting with him, he was not able to give me a direct answer whether or not I could have this walkout. And he told me that he has to go meet with people in the district and talk it over and stuff. However, in the previous walkout, it was like no questions asked, like, yes, you can do it. So, yeah, I'm not quite as optimistic about it, and I really don't think it's going to happen, at least in my school. But in schools across the country, I'm really hoping that it is allowed.
Well, I'll tell you what, this, to me, has the potential of being a national story, and I really love the way that you're approaching this. Now, again, like you said, they have their walkout for gun control. What meetings did they have? Who did they coordinate with? Did they have to call their supervisors to make sure it was okay? No. The liberals said that we were going to do it. The Democrats said they were going to do it. The March for Our Lives, organized by the women marchers, funded by George Soros, they all got behind it. David Hogg raised his fist and said, we're going to do it. So they did it. They didn't check with their superiors. They didn't check with the school board. They didn't ask the parents. They just did it because it's a liberal thing, so it's just guaranteed to be self-righteous. But then here you are. You want to have a walkout for life. You want to protect the sanctity of life before it's born, and you get put to the curb. And it looks like right now, based on the lip service they're giving you, that perhaps they're not going to honor your request to have a march for pro-life.
Yeah, exactly. And when I went in to have the meeting with my principal, I asked for the exact same accommodations that were given to the students who led the previous walkout on Wednesday the 14th. So there really shouldn't, when I went in there really shouldn't have been any questions about it, except since there is a double standard, obviously there are questions and they have to speak it over with, even though I asked for the exact same accommodations as the previous walkout.
Well, you're on spring break right now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
My guess is they think that you're going to let this die down over spring break. You're going to come back to school next week and you're going to forget about it and you're not going to bring it back up. But my guess is that's not going to be the case. Nope,
it's going to be completely opposite.
All right, how can my audience keep up with you? I know that you've got a Twitter account at bgilly13. We're showing that right now. Is that the best way for people to keep up with your campaign to have a walkout for life?
Yeah, pretty much. That's where I'm doing it. I'm using the hashtag life on Twitter to keep everybody up to date on what is happening. So, yeah.
Okay, and are you currently a junior, Brandon?
Yes, I am.
Well, good for you. I can tell you that we're very proud of you here at Infowars. You're doing the right thing. It takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing. And the force is strong in you because you understand the Jedi technique of putting the liberals into a corner and then showing their double standard. Before we let you go here, 30 seconds, just final parting words for our audience.
All right, well, I'm just really trying to get everybody to spread the word about the hashtag life movement. And I just really want as many people to do it as possible. It's going to be taking place on April 11th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we want the walkout to last for 17 minutes. So anybody across the country is allowed to participate. Just go to your school administration if you want to participate and let them know that you want to have this walkout at your school.
So there you go, folks. Brandon Gillespie, a young patriot, leading others. Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on with today. We wish you the best of luck in your campaign. We'll maintain our coverage of that and keep our audience updated. We'll be right back with more of The War Room. Don't go anywhere.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
It's been sold out for months, and now it's back. It's Myco ZX Plush. Lower price, more ingredients because we scaled up, signed a year contract with even bigger organic manufacturer and producer. Scalability. But now we're able to go at 50% off to $27 instead of $39, 50% off. Because there's a lot of product and a lot of ingredient in Myco ZX. Now, it's the other side of the equation. Everybody thinks about probiotics and how great they are for your gut because of toxins in the environment, pesticides, herbicides, but more importantly than bad bacteria that probiotics help displace, yeast mold creates slime walls. And once the candida and the yeast and the mold and all that get in there, it causes all sorts of serious issues. Well, this has got a bunch of concentrated herbs in it and compounds known to destroy that slime wall. Don't wait to start detoxifying your body until it's too late. Pick up a bottle of the new and improved Myco ZX Plus now from the Infowars store.